All right, welcome back to the Ladder Up Podcast. We're here with Jerrell Miller,
Hello.
also known as Whistle Pig, from the Whistle Pig Podcast.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Good to see you. It's good to get you on the podcast. I started out being on your podcast, first any podcast ever, so it's cool to see it come full circle, you know?
Dude, I'm glad to be here. Actually, I told you earlier I wanted to hijack the first minute.
Do it up.
I'm extremely proud, first off. Known you for a while, and like I was mentioning earlier, you are one of the people in my life I would categorize as people I care about. And that's not saying I don't care about people in my life, right? But the people that you follow up on, like, how's he doing, right? Is he making strides? If not, what can I do to help him, even if it's at a cost to me, right? You don't do that for everybody, because you can't. You can't save everybody, right? But that's kind of the network thing we were talking about, and to see you go from wanting to do something, saying, hey, I'd like to start a podcast, coming on my podcast and being like, oh, this is fun.
Right.
Seeing you beforehand be like, I don't know if we can do it. I don't know what we can talk about, and we go for 4 hours.
Right, that's really what the game changer was. Like, it's just a conversation.
And then immediately seeing you be like, all right, dude, here's what I need, and then you started getting the shit. And then now you're podcasting more consistently than I am, and it's awesome, and it's humbling, and it's just to see where you've gone outside of the podcast, the success, everything that you've been doing is just, I'm proud of you, seriously. And it's fucking amazing to see that you're 24. Okay, when I was your age, I didn't have these aspirations. I may have had the aspirations, but I wasn't pursuing them. To see that you've not only been pursuing them but achieving them is fucking awesome, dude.
And you're one of the ones that showed me it's possible. Like, you're just a guy I worked with that started out with, and then now you have a podcast, and then all of a sudden I'm on a podcast, and it goes super smooth and super easy, and it's like anyone can do it and have a following, and you got people all over the world that read your stuff. So
people in Russia, and with what's going on in Russia and Israel, and the stuff that's going on right now across the world, just people. Just check the metrics, and even if I had like 5 people last month in Russia listen, it's like the fact that I reached 5 people in Russia, knowing that I've said some shit, and that they heard it unfiltered is just awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, you can't do this over there. You can't do this, and the fact that they hear it and they're like, wow, like the world has that. Maybe they get an opinion because all their shit's skewed, and maybe they're like, hey, this guy's getting different news, and hey, maybe I can find a way. It's just. I may have helped 5 people in Russia. That's a small part of what's going on right now. This is not much, but the fact that maybe I did is just fucking awesome.
Right.
And it's like, however you feel about the conflict, support, Ukraine or not, like, if you can't actually reach out and help, you feel helpless, and then you want to, kind of bury your head in the sand, and it seems like a lot of people are doing that. I'm not saying I intended to help, but knowing that it happened, possibly, it's fucking awesome. And then seeing you have that door open and be like, wow, I can talk to the world. Right. Fuck, I can travel the world.
Right.
I can conquer the world.
The world is yours.
Right. What's the next? Space?
Mars?
Let's do a podcast from the moon, bro.
That'd be fucking cool.
God damn, dude, that Elon Musk shit was just awesome. I mean, okay, besides the blowing up part, that was... whatever. That's not even a big deal. It's a test for a reason. But did you watch that rocket launch?
Oh, the one that blew up?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Not to sidetrack, but yeah.
Yeah, it looked gnarly. Like, as it's coming across, looked like a dozen shooting stars and stuff. Pretty wild stuff.
But the initial launch, rocket catch of the boost, dude, just oh my god.
Like, if you told me that as like a 10-year-old, I'd be like, no way, that's science fiction.
That's exactly what I said. I watched the first arm catch that rocket. Like, watching the rocket come in, and then the boost, and then it's slowing down, and it's like, okay, all right, maybe it's, okay, and then it just kept fucking, dude, to the point where I was standing up with my phone fist pump. I'm like, he did it. It's like, what if you knew that guy?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, just, that's possible, dude. People are doing that shit. Like,
they say you're like only 10 people out from anyone in the world. Like, someone knows someone, and that someone knows someone. And like they say, 10 people out, you can reach anyone in the world.
Well, think about it. You're on your path right now.
Right.
Like, one day you could sit down with Elon Musk. If you stay at this, that would be a guy you would want to interview. That's the most...
For sure.
Think about all through history. think of somebody that's more efficient.
I mean, it depends on efficient at what. Depends on the matter at hand.
Okay. Argue me. What give me an example. Because I have a hard time.
I don't know, like Henry Ford, for instance, like he kind of like figured out the most efficient way to manufacture cars when there's no real blueprint to mass manufacturing of a vehicle. When he's like, there's not many vehicles out there at the time. Kind of made the blueprint of a 5-day work week and an assembly line.
That's a good argument. Einstein would be a good argument to Tesla. Tesla was efficient as fuck. I mean,
for sure. He could envision stuff in his head and like make almost like a 3D model in his head and try it out and like troubleshoot and see what worked and what wouldn't just from his mind.
His R&D department was right here.
Yeah, dude. That's wild. I've read his like audiobook.
Yeah. No, you're right. That's a good argument. You know what? I'm gonna argue the other way. I'm going back.
I'm with it.
I'm going back. Elon Musk. Ford did what? Same thing Elon Musk did, not to the same extent as Elon Musk did it, because Ford did it
with
first.
the technologies available at the time.
Right. And now Musk did something just, I want to say, equally as impressive, because you're taking an electric car company, not ICE, that internal combustion engine, for those of you, an electric car, and you're going to mass produce it and have it compete with the market of ICE engines, and you're going to sleep in that fucking factory, and you're going to do it at a price point that the market can't argue is, and
Oh, and not only that, but bring it back from going almost bankrupt, like I think 3 times
yes,
or something.
Yeah, several times. And then the manufacturing process from A to B, sourcing, right? Just assembling, all the things. And that's one. But he's also done the Boring Company, right?
Right. Multifaceted.
He bought X. At one time, I don't know if he still is, but he was the #1 Diablo player in the world.
I think he still is.
How the fuck do you do that while you're running SpaceX, Tesla, the Boring Company, and that,
Yeah.
And then you're the
And the Department of Government Efficiency now too.
Yes, you got 12 kids, but that's and when people are like, why this guy? It's like, because he's the most efficient motherfucker that there has been, at least in our lifetime. Why wouldn't he be the guy for the Department of Government Efficiency? Like, you want the most efficient fucker ever, possibly, to be the guy that establishes the Department of what? Efficiency.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like Doge.
Right. But that, right. And like, is this a simulation? But then outside of that, dude, like, nobody says, oh, he's corrupt. Nobody says, oh, he's selfish. He's got 12 kids because he's worried about, 12 that we know, because he's worried about the population of the world. He's a billionaire. He does all these things. I know I sound like I'm sucking Elon Musk's dick. I'm just saying, dude, that's possible. And people don't look at that like, people look at it with hate. And it's like, dude, you're living right now when some of the craziest shit in this world is happening.
What gets me is anything's possible. We all have the same 24 hours in a day.
Yes.
What are you doing with it?
And the people that are in your circle that aren't doing the most with it, those are the people you need to be like, dude, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, that's why I know I've probably hijacked, 15 minutes, but Jesus Christ, dude, I am so fucking happy and proud to see you achieving things. And it's like, yeah, you're on that path to literally do whatever, and I fucking love it. And like I was telling you with Ryan, he had that chance. It sucks, right? To be like, yeah, okay, Adonis is kind of go away, but you need to do it. And he had a hard time with it at first. When I did the podcast, he was saying he listened back to an episode with Grandma, and my grandma had said, why is he moving? And he heard that, and he was like, to her it was just a no-brainer, like, you don't leave your family. And to me, I feel like I was the force that kind of pushed him and was like, dude, you have to. And kind of seeing him struggle with that, it's like, dude, you're alone, yeah, but
I think it's a balance.
Only for a minute, because you're going to make new friends. I'm not going anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. We have an established friendship. And then when you need support, you know who you come to? Me. And when I need support, you know who I go to? You. Because that's what we fucking do, whether it's business or life, dude. And to see you doing it, it's just, I love you. And I love the achievement. So, your podcast, let's go. Let's get off that, because that's what the podcast will be.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So, which route do you want to go? Do you want to talk about your podcast starting out, or do you want to kind of go and explain like where you're from, what you're about, and how you got to creating a podcast?
I mean, I can talk about why I wanted to start the podcast. I think that'd be awesome.
Let's do that.
All right. So, first things first. Let me tell you where I'm from. Okay.
Where you from?
Parrington, Michigan. I'm from Parrington, Michigan. Parrington, Michigan. Went to a basically all-white school. Okay. Which, it'll tell you enough about my tolerance for a lot of things. Pretty tolerant. Okay. I want people to be free to do whatever. Speak your opinion, achieve your dreams, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, I don't think that anybody should step on them, until it starts to, which we could get into later. But anyway, where I come from is it's southern Michigan. If you look at the mitten, it'd be this hand. If you draw a line here, okay, southern Michigan is developed. If you look at a map, the top half is green. I'm on that fucking line where I grew up. As a matter of fact, 3 miles north of where I grew up is the rifle shotgun line. Right? 57.
For those that don't know, Michigan is just hoods and woods.
Hoods and woods. That's literally at Murder Mitten. So, above this line you can use a rifle because the population is low enough and it's dense enough in forest that you can use a high-powered rifle to shoot deer at 500 yards, whatever. Below that line, they consider it a dense enough population you have to use a straight wall cartridge, short range.
I did not know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're wrong. Yeah. Follow the law. Check your local game laws. So anyway, I grew up literally on that line, and the whole point of me bringing this up is that line is development. Okay, we're not living that long after these fucking pioneers traveled across the Cumberland Gap out west. Okay, let's not forget where we come from and how this country was built and how it's being developed.
Because Michigan only came to stay in the 1800s.
Yeah, right. Come on. What are we doing? Okay. Now, at that line, if you live beneath it, you have extreme opportunity for, not extreme. If you live in the higher population cities across the country, you have extreme opportunity, right? But when you get into higher population areas, you have better opportunity. And the denser it gets, the better the opportunity. Well, the further south you go in Michigan, the denser the population gets, right? You have some cities. Now, where I grew up, it's on that line, so it's kind of, my grandpa, first off, my grandparents raised me, for the most part. But my grandpa used to drive an hour into the city for work, one way, to make good money so he could afford his property and 4 kids and all the shit, right? Now, he wasn't just able to buy his way through life. He still had to cut wood, right? Maintain the property. Like, when it snows, nobody's coming to fucking save you, dude.
Right.
We don't have another house on the mile road. It's us. Our next neighbor is about a half mile away on the next road, but it's just us. And luckily he had a big ass tractor with a plow, so when we got bad snowstorms, so the whole point is you had to rely on yourself and each other.
Do you feel like he instilled values of the older generation on you?
Oh, 100%. And I guess that's what I'm trying to get at is I was raised by people that were raised by people that had to rely on each other, not only to raise their kids, but to watch out for their kids. And if you needed a fence mended, guess what? You knew everybody that was going to help you mend it. And when they needed a fence mended, guess what? You were obligated to help them mend their fence. Because eventually you had a cow that you needed to have help birthed or whatever. So that ethic of work, but also cordiality, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't agree with somebody, you still have to find common ground, okay? Whether it's politically or whatever. This dude fucked your wife, okay? Yeah, you want to kill him, but you actually might need some of his resources at some point, or his help, you know what I mean? So maybe you need to think about working this out before you make an extreme decision. Maybe you can't just ditch somebody in the backwoods because now you're alone. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It depends on the situation on that one.
Right.
For sure. Some people need to be unalived. I don't know.
It's situational for sure.
For sure.
But I'm saying in the city, you don't have you don't have to think that deep about things.
Right.
You just say, this is wrong, let me fix it. Or I need a new job, let me go get one. Oh, it's cold, let me turn the heat up. It's not, oh fuck, I gotta go cut more wood. Oh shit, it's gonna be negative degrees for the next 2 weeks and windy, so I gotta get extra wood because the wind is gonna suck the fucking wood down in my fireplace. You know what I mean? Like just those little things.
I think it makes your whole mindset different because you're more
Yes.
like foreshadowing, like, what do I got coming? What's
Everything.
the weather like?
Everything.
You like in the city, you're just like turn the heat up and go back in bed.
You want to eat? Guess what? Well, the bigger the city you live in, the more options you have. You say, oh, this place doesn't close for 24 hours. It's 4 a.m.
I only eat vegan.
Right. Oh, here. Let me pull up a list of vegan shit. Right.
Right.
I didn't have that opportunity. The closest place I could get fast food was like a half hour away. So you killed what you could and you ate what you killed. You know what I mean? And it was just that kind of thing. So what made me want to start the podcast is hearing a lot of people talking about, you know, on their podcast, a lot of people talking about like bitching about modern day struggles, and I hear first world problems, and I laugh about it because it's like it is what it is. But some people, this isn't the first world. Like the technology we have is crazy, but they're still uncontacted tribes, and we could talk about the morality of leaving them uncontacted because I don't think we should. What do you think?
I don't know. It kind of sounds like they don't want to be contacted.
They don't.
What can you blame?
But they don't fucking know what they're missing.
I don't know. I see both sides of that for sure. I think
don't.
it should be up to the people.
I don't.
Up to the people there. But how can you inform them of what they're missing without contacting them? But every time they try to contact them, they'll like kill them. Kill the people trying to go there, shoot their planes with arrows and shit. But they don't understand people through what they don't know.
No. Listen. I don't think anybody is wrong for thinking something like that because it's extremely hard to argue. But I think in extremes. And if I were in that position, I would not want to be suffering from fucking parasites and diseases and seeing planes fly overhead and wondering what the fuck that is and literally worshiping false idols.
What I don't get is how come none of them just wander away? Eventually you'll stumble on the civilized world.
Here's what it is, dude. They're native, and they do wander away. But the thing is, they're seeing things that you and I don't see.
Right.
You walk through a patch of fucking woods, they see that trail like you fucking just walked with a red bucket of paint, dude. That's what they see. Oh, he brushed his elbow here. Look at that break.
Dude, I've heard people going down in the Amazon where they're like talking about getting surrounded by the tribes down there, and they'll like make animal calls back and forth,
Yes.
and they'll think it's animals around them, and really it's people surrounding them.
Yes.
It's wild.
Wild shit. So don't think those people don't come into contact. They choose to. They see excavators tearing down their home, dude, and they're thinking, what is that? What kind of monster is that? They might find a T-Rex bone somewhere, but do you think that that's what they associate with that excavator that's just coming in and ripping out fucking trees? That's not what they think that is. They don't know what that
Like
is.
it's the goddamn sky people, like Avalon or
Right.
Avatar, not Avalon.
Right. Avatar, yes. But that's the thing is like I get your argument. Yeah, they're gonna kill you. Okay. How was the United States conquered?
I mean, all I'm saying is I wouldn't want to be
How
the guy
was-
forced to go over there and talk to him.
I also wouldn't want to be. I also wouldn't want to be the Native American in the United States that was forced to learn English.
Right.
But I'm telling you right now, I would rather be the Native American in the United States that has access to AI and, I don't know, a Tesla, than one that is living in a fucking patch of woods somewhere, freezing right now because it's 40 below, wondering what the fuck are those lights? And oh, did you fucking hear that? What was it? Why? Why are we doing this? Why are we, you know what I mean? That's just where my mind's at, and I'm not saying anybody's wrong regardless. But, let me bring it back. The weed. I hit this. The weed. So, growing up how I grew up, I wanted to start a podcast because I'm hearing all these people talking about these things, and in the back of my mind I'm thinking, well, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, why are we really worrying about, well, you're literally putting all your eggs in the, and I'm watching people just want to give more and more and more of their freedoms and their rights away in exchange for safety. saying,
Wild.
hey, you grow my chickens, I'll go make this guy $1 million this month.
The chemicals you're putting in them, I don't mind that as long as they're bigger eggs.
I don't mind. As a matter of fact, if you have to spray the ground he eats with chemicals, that's fine too, because I want him to be able to find his food quicker, so he gets fatter quicker, so I can eat him quicker.
And the food you feed him also spray with pesticides. There can't be no bugs on
Trust
it.
me, I don't give a fuck about that.
Right.
Trust me.
It's
I'm a
wild.
vegan. I'm a vegan, actually. So you go ahead and just spray all my fucking salad. You know what I mean? It's just kill all the bugs on it. You know. So I see that, and then I talked to my grandpa one day, and he's telling me about how he's kind of seen things change and how he felt like he grew up at the best time. And I had such a good talk with him. And my grandma wasn't feeling good that day. I talked to her a little bit, but I ended up just having a really good conversation with him. It started, I was bummed out, and I was talking to him about grandma, and then he was telling me about how they had their day. You know, he's like, there was a time where we were your age, and you know, we were in great health, and I mean, we started a family, we did things, we had fun, you know. And it just got me thinking, like, I wanted to get their stories, so I bought equipment, and then COVID fucking hit, and I didn't feel right going over there. So for 2 years, I didn't record, and then I finally was just like, this is fucking stupid, right? I'm giving my grandma and my grandpa all this information, but I'm also trying to, like, right now I'm trying not to get worked up, dude, because I'm so fucking irritated, but I'm trying to, like, educate them, like, hey, I understand you're behind the technological curve, and it's hard for you to know what to understand and to believe, but I'm telling you, these people that you've been listening to since there were 3 channels are not the people to listen to, because they've been fucking feeding you the same shit, have they not?
Right.
I'm like, what? I'm like, where's the line?
I have
Was
noticed that in
Vietnam?
the generational differences of, like, older people tend to trust the media, where our generation is kind of like, oh, I've seen this story before, you guys aren't honest to us.
And it's not just that. I feel like our generation had a different education in critical thinking.
Yeah.
Their critical thinking was not, am I going to be able to get through life outside of work? Their critical thinking was, work is the hardest thing I have to fucking do. And when I go home, I get a martini, I hug my beautiful wife. She just got done vacuuming, right? Fucking, my kids run down the stairs because they just finished their homework. You know,
I feel like
just,
their American dream was different. They wanted to work, retire, and then live out their golden years.
and that's what they got. Because that's what they were sold, and that's what they got. Ours isn't that. We want more, and it's not to anybody's detriment, because I want what my grandpa had and has. I want 4 kids, right? I want a stable home. I want property.
There's so many factors to
I
this. It's
don't-
not as simple. You can't just work a normal 40-hour-week job, W-2 job in your area, which they could before, to pay for a mortgage and to go to school or whatever you want to do. It's just not enough money. Inflation, everything else is crazy.
Everything.
Yeah. It's a
And-
big rabbit hole to go down.
Well, it is, and that's what got me, is I was like, I would love to get my grandma and grandpa's story. And after 2 years, dude, I finally just one day I was like, all right, let's do it.
Was there a moment or a time where you're like, today's the day, or like what made you hit record that first time?
I called my grandma, and she was like, she was feeling like really good, and I was like, man, so for a couple weeks I'd gone over there a little bit, just kind of like once a week here, I'd give them a week, I'd go over again. So after about a month and a half of that, being over there 3-4 times, they were like a little more comfortable with me just showing up. I'd be like, hey, I'm on my way. And if they weren't feeling good, or grandma wasn't feeling good, or if they weren't comfortable, they'd be like, hey, just, I'll talk to you through the door or whatever, which is fine. Stand on the porch, hang out with them. But I called my grandma, and she was feeling really good, and I was just like, hey, I'm glad you're up. So I was just calling to tell you I'm on my way over. And she was like, oh, for what? And I was like, I just gotta tell you something. And she's like, are you pregnant? I'm like, no, we're not. But I just, so I got there and I pulled the microphone out. Well, I brought all the equipment upstairs, and she was immediately like, Jerrell, I'm not doing podcasts. I'm not talking to, I'm like, Grandma, you have to. she's like, I'm like, Grandma, I'm not gonna post it. Like, I need the audio and I need the practice because I had bought the microphones, and for those 2 years, she had been asking me constantly, like, when are you gonna do a podcast? Are you doing a podcast? I'd be like, hey, Cody's coming over. Hey, are you doing a podcast with Cody? Hey, Ryan's up. Are you guys gonna do a podcast? Ryan's coming up this weekend. Hey,
now it's like it's your turn.
Right. So after doing that for so long and kind of pushing me, because I wasn't really seeing them, I finally was just like, yeah, we're fucking doing this. So I show up and she was like, no, we're not. And I set all this stuff up and I was like, please just do some mic checks. And she was like, okay. So the first thing she said, and I fucked up because it was my very first podcast, and it's one of my biggest regrets, is she was like, let me at least tell you the story of me cutting your umbilical cord. And it was just a quick story. I was like, all right. I'm like, all right, let me hit record. And I didn't know what I was doing. And I kind of recorded like the tail end of it. And I was like, so my recording picks up. I was like, hey, so just for the record, you wanted to say your first thing ever on audio or on recording was what? And she's like, and she tells me, yeah, so I cut your umbilical cord and all that. And I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Right. So right there, I was like kind of tearing up and I was like, all right, let's shut this down. I got to check the levels. So I shut it down and I'm like, fuck. Yo. And we just fucking go, dude. And I'm like, all right. My grandpa was sleeping. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to get 2 hours with grandma. And she started going, and I was like, yo, this is awesome. But then she got sick. So I got one good one. But after that, after we lost her, I was like, man, I can't not do it. I feel like a piece of shit because, you know, she's why I did it. So
It's a good legacy to carry out, though. And then to spread the word on here, too. Because then it gets her story out there, too.
yeah. So after I recorded with her, I didn't even post for another year. Because it was hard for me to even hear that. But I'd recorded with a couple people. So I just made a family group chat and I was like, hey guys, you know, this is for you. And if you ever want to hear grandma, you know, she's immortalized. So
powerful to have, too. I wish I would have had that from my grandma before she passed.
it's huge. So to see you achieving shit, dude, is just like, that means a lot to me. And I know eventually you're going to have that. And it's just fucking, it's awesome.
So it's contagious. It's spreading.
It is. And I wouldn't cry if it was anybody other than Zach, dude, because I wouldn't give a fuck. It's like, maybe if one of my brothers was on here, but there's not many people that I can get, you know, that I emotionally get in depth with. So
Right.
So I guess thank you for that too.
I appreciate you opening up and telling me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, hopefully it's good content because this is the first time I've cried in a couple of years.
It's good to let it out.
Actually, since my grandma died.
I have a similar motivation for starting it because, like, my best friend
Jermaine died.
Maria died and stuff, and like that kind of shows you how fucking short life is. It was really sudden. She was really young and stuff too. And it's like I grew up with her. We were best friends throughout school, middle school, high school, all that shit. And it's like,
yeah,
we all like that. So if you want to do something, fucking do it, because you never know when it's gone.
Dude, that was hard too.
For sure.
That was hard too, dude. And it was hard on a different level because I didn't really know her, but like, I love Gabe, and just the fucking highs and lows with all that whole situation was fucking rough.
Mm-hmm.
And being a neighbor, as you know, like, that's kind of how we knew her a little bit, but fuck, dude. Yeah, that was a rough one. And that's the thing is, like, I see people every day, dude, and it pisses me off. Because every day I see people that claim they want more, bitch about wanting more. They don't do anything.
They don't want to go through the work or the struggle to get what they want.
not just that, but then you have the people that have shit and they just fucking throw it away or take it for granted. And
Dude,
it's
that's
like
the biggest pet peeve.
And I know people like
So blessed and they just bitch about it.
but like the Maria thing, dude, it's like you had what? My quick math, another 50 years minimum?
Right.
Like what the fuck? What could anybody do with 50 years? We don't know. We'll never know. And that's how unfair life is. I don't get it. But yeah, once I started the podcast, it was it was awesome. Because, again, you're immortalized now. And I care about that. You know, I don't have people on I don't care about.
And that was one of the biggest things that opened my eyes, too, is like, so for your instance, you had this situation with your family member that passed, and then you can always go back and listen to that person. So, like, their voice is always there in the archives of the internet. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like a living legacy through audio and video, or audio, whichever it is, for like your family or even generations from now. Like 100 years ago, how many people in your family do you remember from 100 years ago? Probably none. You probably know nothing about them besides like just the legends or whatever your family's told you about them, you know?
No,
Basic stuff. So like doing something like this, you can really get to know people generations from now without them ever even meeting you. Which I feel like that's pretty powerful.
It is. And you know what, dude? I'm going to give you an exclusive because I love you. It's not on my list of shit to do this weekend, but I'm going to give it to you and the listeners too because I think everybody deserves to have it. If you want it, that stand that you have right there, dude, you have anybody important in your life, you put that stand in front of them, you ask them, sit at the table, just like this. You just ask them, look in that camera for as long as you can, 3 minutes. Give me a smile. Give me a fucking sad. Whatever you want to do. Make a funny face. I don't give a fuck. Look in that camera as long as you can, please. That way, one day I can just, when I'm having a bad day, I can just look at you. And that's like 5 minutes of just eye contact with.
Right, you don't realize how powerful or valuable it is until you don't got that, until it's gone.
Yeah.
Pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah. So do that. Care. You know, show you care. Because, fuck, dude.
That's another thing. So many people talk about, like, say a lot of words, and words are pretty hollow if they're not backed up by actions.
Nobody does anything.
And, like, by you taking the action and starting your podcast, it kind of showed me, like I was saying, it's possible. You can do it. If you can do it, I can fucking do it, too. And any questions I had, I went to you, and you helped me out and stuff. Like, this is my second episode posted. I have, like, 5 episodes prior to this that just didn't work out because it wasn't on video and just audio. But I didn't stop there. I just kept working until I figured out something that worked.
Yeah, and like we figured it out today, dude. You're going to download Audacity, even if it's just for those other 3 episodes. You're going to upload them as an MP3. Copy them to
I
another
got some
place.
good ones coming, y'all.
He does. Copy them to another place as an MP4. And then you can upload it to YouTube. One of your episodes there that you sent me, was one of your mics not working? What was...
I had an issue with it. I got it as...
I tried to balance it doing that.
Yeah, my mic was
so
really
hard.
quiet, and the person I interviewed, their mic was a normal mic.
Yeah.
So mine was really quiet. I was like, as long as I get the person I'm interviewing really good sound quality, I figured it'd be all right. But it just...
They sound great, but like toward the end, it's really hard to hear you. I thought maybe I could bring her down and then just bring you both up together, but that just made it so much worse.
That was a good episode, though, wasn't it?
Dude, it was. It was.
That was the best one I had so far. Besides this.
Serendipity, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I was like, how many businesses does she own now?
Like 5 or 6. It was wild.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
And no college or nothing, just...
And she sounds like she's 20.
Yeah.
And she's what, 50 something?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
That was...
Like, how do you have that energy?
Right.
Run fucking 4 or 5 businesses.
That was another motivator for me, too. If you can do that coming out of Central Ohio with no college and just straight work, anyone can do it.
And dude, and thank you for that, because that's
the whole point of the podcast. The ladder of podcast is how you start from the bottom. Like, you start in the middle of Michigan.
Yes.
Nowhere but, like, going out chopping wood, getting your own food and stuff. To now you have a podcast, now you're a welder. So it's like, how did you go from the bottom to the next rung up in the ladder?
Well, I'll tell you what, still sore from cutting wood.
Hell yeah.
I'm still stressed from hunting season. But
I feel like some of that stuff is good for you, though, for
yeah,
sure.
dude.
Like cutting wood, you don't see too many people that are overweight cutting wood. You know what I mean?
No. The only thing that sucks is there is definitely a boost in testosterone.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking cold out too. That might suck a little bit. 4 degrees and shit.
Trust me, I got ahead of that. I was not fucking with that 4-degree -20 because it's 40, 35 mile an hour wind bullshit, dude. Not doing it.
Yeah.
Not me. I saw it coming. I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna fuck myself today, and then literally just went out and cut like 3 face cord of wood, loaded it up, what I could, and then brought up a week's worth, and was like, I have another week and a half worth out there, but it all needs to be split because I cut some fucking monsters. And I'm thinking, do I want to move that? I'm like, I don't. Do I need it? I don't need it right now. Am I sore? I'm too fucking sore for this shit. Dude. Like, what am I doing? Just panicking. It's a different type of thing living in Michigan, dude. If you've ever fucking lived where it's in Michigan ain't shit for somebody in Alaska where it's like 60 below.
Oh,
go to the Arctic
time for like 6 months.
Go to the Arctic Circle, dude. You laugh at this shit. You're like, wow, this is nice. You go outside in a t-shirt when it's 20 below. Fuck, dude. When you're in it, and it's like not fun. You can't touch anything. 30 seconds outside sucks. It makes a different person, but the cities make it so much more. When you live, like when I lived in Lansing, dude, it was, I don't even remember the winters.
Yeah.
Turn the heat up, everybody's shoveling your fucking snow for you. Oh, you don't even need to you don't need a coat. You run out to your car, you start it, you run back in.
Right.
You run out to your car, it's warm, you fucking go to work.
Job.
You're right, you're right.
It's like Arizona in the summertime, AC to AC to AC.
Yeah, and for your 30 seconds you're outside, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is fucking, why do I live here? And then you get inside and you're like, oh yeah.
You look out the window, oh, pretty mountain.
Yeah, that's nice. It's nice. That's why I live here.
Yeah.
We have power. Electricity. The grid's why I live here. Yeah, dude, so hopefully going forward, growing the podcast on my side.
What's your aspirations for your podcast?
I want to bring right now we were just talking. I took like 6 months, maybe 9 months off, and just because I've been going through some personal shit, dude.
Life happens for sure.
Well, demons. You gotta address your demons. And so I was dealing with. Still kind of am, but mainly dealing with demons that was happening at a time where the financial stress was starting to climb. And it's like, you know, I was trying to build a studio. Nobody was fucking helping, it seemed like. And I know if I would have asked you, I asked Zach, fucking he came over. I know if I would have asked you, you would have came over, but I didn't have the supplies. Like, it was just, when I asked for help, I got it, but I didn't have the supplies. And I wanted to make it a studio for all 3 of us, because I'm like, fuck, dude, if I build this studio, I know 3 people locally that podcast.
Right.
I'm one of them. And then if I have the studio, fucking the keys to the garage, easy to copy. It doesn't matter if the dogs are inside or outside. The studio's in the garage.
Right.
Jeff needs to record tonight? Here, dude. I don't give a fuck what's going on. You leave when you gotta leave. You go in there when you gotta go in there.
It'd be such a cool
You know
idea
what I mean?
to get to that point, for sure.
But so I was trying to do that, and then demons and fuck. So I just needed to step away because the podcast was starting to become an event. And one great thing, whether you podcast or not, I don't mean to keep hijacking this.
Well, you're good. It's your episode, man.
I want people to maybe think about things a little different in their life if they listen to this episode. Whether it's touching base with family or analyzing your own fucking demons, your thoughts, your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, whatever you want to call it, your purpose. If you have a cell phone, which you probably do because you're listening to this, record yourself. You have voice notes. You have a bad day. You have a great day. You're sad. Whatever. Take that extreme emotion that's not what you would call baseline and record yourself during it. Give yourself some thought and put it on the fucking audio. And then listen back to it when you're baseline.
Yeah, dude, if you get mad sometimes and do that shit, I learned this from David Goggins. He was saying if you get really mad about something, record yourself, And like play it back, and you're like, damn, I sound like a bitch.
You'll be like, what a fucking pussy.
For real.
What a fucking
like,
pussy.
If you're trying to work out and trying to make an excuse, videotape your excuse.
Yeah, be like,
and then watch your excuse back, and you'll be like, all right, I'm gonna put my shoes on.
Yeah, because you literally see yourself faking a limp.
Yeah, dude.
You'll be like, look, oh, I'm talking about my knee hurting and it doesn't hurt. Oh, look at my fake. Look at, oh, bitch.
You can lie to everyone, but you can't lie to yourself.
Bitch, right. I'm going to do one-legged squats now on that leg because you will fucking, you know, so it's like you gotta attack your demons, dude. And I was starting to get venty. The podcast wasn't a podcast. It wasn't me being me. It was me being like venting. And that's not what it is. That's not what the podcast is. So I just stepped away from it because I'm like, it's not the content I want. And then I did 2 episodes with Zach. I did one with my grandpa that was super venty, kind of cringy. And then I did 2 with Zach a couple weeks later because he's like, what's going on with the podcast? I'm like, you gotta listen to the grandpa podcast. I haven't posted it, but it's fucking cringe. And he's like, it's fine. And I gave him a little snippet, and he's like, I see your point. So we recorded, and he didn't say it was cringe, but he was like, yeah, I can kind of see where you might not want to. And we recorded, and then after we recorded, he was like, I was kind of cringed out by all the shit I said. And I was like,
I remember that one.
I was like,
the aftermath of that one.
I was like, okay, well, we'll do another one because I was too. So we did another one, and it was the exact same fucking thing. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I just listened to literally 9 hours of me vent. And the last 6 podcasts I did, when I listened back and made edit notes, the whole time I was thinking, shut the fuck up, you fucking bitch. What? Shut up. What? And then I didn't cut it out because I'm like, if I'm gonna cut it out, I might as well not post it. Because that's not me. Why would I take the public perspective of me and twist it? Because I don't want somebody to meet me somewhere and be like, oh, he's being short today. And then never hear me short in the podcast. Because then I'm a cunt. No. You're going to hear me fucking rant and go off and lose my shit and then come back and be like, yeah, but I'm just an asshole that's having a bad day. Forgive me, right? But if I don't put that out there when you meet me, if I'm that person, I'm not that person that you know.
And that's what was holding me back from making some of my podcasts in the past is I'm like, I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to cut. I don't know how to do this, that. And now I'm just videoing it, putting it out there.
Yes.
In the future, I'll figure it out once I get to that point, but I ain't to that point yet.
But also, think about this, dude. You put it out there, build it to something where you don't have to fucking learn that. Because I would rather pay one of my friends to go to school and learn how to do that so they don't have to go to work for some fucking cunt that's not going to care about them. I don't want that.
Speaking of people, like, trying to paying other people to do jobs, like, for people that want to start a business, look up a CPA. You can hire a CPA. Look up a bookkeeper. You can hire a bookkeeper. All the things that you're making excuses about not knowing how to do, you can hire someone to do it.
Fucking quit making excuses.
It's wild. You can pay for it. You don't even got to go to school. You can pay a mentor doing what you already want to do and pay them to teach you how to do it. And learn the mistakes they made at the beginning, starting out, and prevent those mistakes. Like, I learned from him, starting on his podcast, and what mistakes he made, so I tried to not make those same mistakes.
Yes, and I didn't mind making those mistakes because I would rather the people that are going to follow me not fucking make those mistakes. I don't want to see them fall or step in a trap I stepped in. Why?
There's enough food for us all to eat.
Not just that, but why would you want to cripple your army? The people that are fucking behind you are the people that are going to back you. They're not going to push you into a fucking over the cliff, right? If you go to slip, they're going to be the people that catch you. You want them on your heels. You want them in front of you sometimes. I'm tired. Blaze this fucking path. Go. I've been blazing for a while. I've had my turn. You take your turn. It's your time in the spotlight. Let me sit back and smoke a cigarette. Put my feet up. Dry my feet out. Take a shit.
Right.
You blaze. Your turn. You don't have to be that guy constantly, but you have to be that guy enough.
Sometimes it's just ego for some people, and they don't realize it until you call them out or they mature a little bit and see it.
But that's the leader thing. Like, that's the leader issue I have. Is like there's that cliche that leaders lead from the back, right? Point. They're with the whole crew. And then a boss is at the back. And the leader's at the front, being like, go charge. No. That's not how it works.
I feel like a leader should lead by example, like never ask you to do something they haven't done or want to do themselves.
Not just that. There's a balance.
For sure, dichotomy.
There's dichotomy.
Jocko
yes.
quote.
Jocko, thank you. You have, right? At some point, you have to be at the back. Because you can't see what's going on when you're at the front. You need to see the battlefield. You need to make calls. Your job is to make fucking calls and save lives and put people in position that's going to be advantageous.
And sometimes if you're in the very front in the shit, you can't see the issues.
And you're the target. Yeah. You're the target. There's a line of people coming at you. Who do you shoot first? Well, the guy that's in front. He's the only guy I can shoot. Right. You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? The only thing I can.
And they say like the best leaders like work themselves out of a job.
You want to. That's what I mean. Why would I want to learn all that shit? Like, I learned it because I didn't have anybody that I knew that knew it. So I learned the bare minimum to get my shit rolling. If it fucking takes off to a point, dude, I don't want to hire you to do my editing. If I put the position out there and I say, hey guys, thinking about hiring an editor, and you're like, hey, what's it pay? And I'm like, yeah, 65. And you're like, I'll take it. We'll talk, okay? But that's not what I want you to do. I want you to fucking achieve. Now, if that's a stepping stone to get you to where you ultimately want to go,
a ladder, if you will, a ladder,
a ladder.
The Ladder Up podcast.
Thank you. If that's a rung, hop on this motherfucker and come up with me, dude. But I don't want this to be what you're like. Okay, cool. Now I don't have to work for this fucking cunt. I can work for my buddy.
Right, this is all I do. I'm gonna kick my feet back and do just the bare minimum that's expected.
Because you're not gonna like it.
Right.
Because I'm gonna be like, Jeff, what the fuck is this weekend shit that I'm seeing you post where you're going out in these clubs, you're fucking spending this money on dumb shit.
Adding to you, it's subtracting to you.
Right. What is this? You know what I mean? You're gonna be like, well, what the fuck, dude? What, you're not a man? Like, no, but I'm your boss.
How dare you care about me? Type shit.
Right. So I don't want that shit. But if it gets to that point, right, that's the thing. But if you can learn the bare minimum to get the ball rolling, you can pick. Here's the thing. So many people are scared to start. The biggest thing I learned by starting was, holy fuck, was that easy?
You lied.
How is that can gonna? Oh, oh shit! What? Wow! What if it? Huh. Oh, right. You can. It's effort, dude. That's it. That's the biggest thing. I've learned the more effort you put into it,
you can draw a little
faster that ball goes.
That's relevant to this.
Okay. I feel like the more effort you put in, the faster that snowball builds, right? The more momentum you build. The quicker that momentum builds is kind of exponential, isn't that?
For sure.
So, I feel like to a point, people say, I don't know how to start, where to start. Just fucking do it. Just jump in. Say, this is what I'm doing now. I guess we're starting here. Pick a spot. Do the bare minimum research. I don't know, if you want to make a t-shirt company, right? What do you need? A t-shirt press and some t-shirts? And then you need a customer with a design? I don't know. How about you just design your own shit, put it out there, say, hey, this is what I can do. And then now you have a palette you can show people of, some examples of your work. Yeah.
So I learned this from Austin Hancock, right? So he's saying most people, they don't take the leap to start. And once you start, you kind of get comfortable and learn how to do it, and then you get to the next level, right? So sometimes when you get to the next level, you go down, and you take a couple steps back. And just because you take a couple steps back, some people, they quit, and that's it, and they give up. But if you keep trying, you'll get to the next level, and then that's how you slowly make steps forward to get to where you want to go. I thought that was very valuable information I learned from them over there.
That is. Now let me throw a word out there. Buzzword, if you will. Plateau.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
Well, in a geographical sense, it's a tall mountain that's flat on top, or like if you're working out, if you're plateau, you get to a certain weight you've been trying to get and you just can't get past that weight, a similar thing.
Okay, so what would, outside of working out or the technical definition of a plateau, like what would a plateau be in, let's say, a weight goal achievement? Like if you're trying to lose or gain weight, what would a plateau be?
Say you want to hit 200, but you keep getting stuck at 285, and it's like, what do you got to do differently to get to the 190 or the 195 to get to the 200?
Okay. And then a plateau in business would be?
Maybe you're only making 100K revenue a year. Maybe you're only making $1 million or $1 million per year, but you want to get to the 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. It's like, what difference are you doing? What efficiencies can you cut out? What marketing strategies are working? What stuff works and what doesn't? what stuff are you doing? Like, say if you're integrating technology, is it technology that's being a burden towards your team? They want to fight against you to use it, or is it something that's actually making them more efficient and helping them? Like, what differences do you got to make? You can't just do the same thing and expect a better outcome. Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Efficiency gain, dude. That's your biggest opportunity. When I hear plateau, I think opportunity. Oh, wait a minute. I've climbed, continued to climb. I'm higher than I was. I've reached a point where I'm now apparently stuck. I've plateaued, if you will.
And some people,
I've
when
been
you
here
get to
a
that
while.
plateau, people are like, oh, you made it, must be nice and shit. But you're like, no, this ain't it.
No. Well, and the people that are like, well, this is what it's like, it's hard. It's so hard to get past here, right? What they do is they start building walls on that plateau. And now that ladder that was hidden around the corner, they're never going to find it because they built a fucking wall. Okay? You're never going to find it. Why can't I get up there? Oh, well, because in order to get there, I have to be able to do this. And you know how hard it is to do that? You can't do this without doing that. And then, no.
Just say, fuck it, find a way.
You quit is what it is. That's why. What you've been doing isn't working.
That's where they take
That's why you
that level, they take
plateau.
a couple of steps down and just quit because they seen the first sign of failure.
Right. Or they continue what they've tried and it actually takes them backwards. Because if you keep putting money into something that's plateaued, eventually you're going to fucking go backwards financially because it's not fucking working. You can't just dump money into something that's not working and make it work. It doesn't work.
It's like stocks. You can't just like give up at the first bear.
No. And you can't put in $1 million to a stock that's fucking dumping and be like, I'm going to save it. Because you just lost $1 million.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you kind of got to know what the fuck you're doing a little bit. But when I hear plateau, I think, oh, that's a great opportunity, right? People climb. Oh, I got to a plateau. It's a resting point. To me, this is where I've reached. What I've been doing is it's died off. Okay, I can rest for a minute. I know what I got to do to maintain. I can't slack, or I'm gonna go backwards. I know what I have to do to maintain. Let me do that. And let me brainstorm some different shit. I'm not going to be able to climb at the same pace. So if I'm expecting $10,000 a month growth over the next year, and now I'm at $1,000 a month, $500 a month, whatever, and I'm not achieving, I'm like, okay, at least I'm maintaining. Maybe it's going to take me 6 months to save a little bit of gross, and then move that and I don't know, maybe buy a new machine or invest it over here or whatever. You know, individual companies may have to do something a little different. A startup may have to do something
It's got to improvise, adapt,
a
overcome.
little different. If you're personally trying to achieve a goal of, let's say, weight loss, okay, now you've been doing cardio and you've plateaued.
Well, another thing, in order to plateau, you got to know what the next level is. You can't go somewhere if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah, that's another aspect. Yeah. It's no, you don't always know exactly what's there.
For sure.
But you need to have an idea.
For sure.
Like if you're gonna climb an elevation, which is what we're trying to do here, the air's gonna be thinner. Motherfucker, prep. You know what I mean? Don't be wheezing at fucking sea level, dude, because it's not gonna work at 14,000 feet. But if you reach that point where you plateau personally, like let's say in like a weight loss thing, you say, okay, I've been trying this diet, I've been doing X amount of cardio, it's not fucking working. Do you just give up and say, oh, I guess I'm destined to be 280 pounds? No. You try something different.
If someone else has done it, it is literally possible.
But to your chart,
Let me find that little charter rule.
you try something different.
Right.
You take a step back. Because now what you've tried, your body, let's say in the weight loss, isn't used to what you've been trying. So it's going to gain a little weight. Or whatever. It's not going to work the same. So you may see a little bit of negative results, but you need to continue on what you're doing to know whether you're going to maintain that negativity long term, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just because you tried something new doesn't mean it's a failure because it failed. That's the biggest thing when I learned how to do A3 problem solving. So many people, dude.
Yeah.
So many people, when their boss comes to them and says, hey, right, okay, so let's say this is your growth pattern. And now you've hit this plateau. And your boss says, look, we're trying to get to here. And you say, listen, boss, we've been doing it this way forever. Like, we're not going to be able to get these gains
The old tribal knowledge.
by making change, right? And you make that change and you go backwards. Because now it takes you 2 minutes longer to do something than it took you before.
What if you just ain't dialed in on the process yet?
Exactly. You just fucking started. How long have you been doing that other thing? 6 years? I guarantee if you give this 6 years, you're going to be 2 minutes faster.
Right, because every single step of like every single motion of the other way, you got the muscle memory and everything.
Yes.
You do it with your eyes closed.
And now you amplify that and you say, oh, it's not just one thing in the process, it's 13 things in the process. Yes, it's going to take 13 fucking times longer. For every step you add, it's going to take a little bit longer, not necessarily 13 times, I guess, but it's going to take that much longer.
Well,
right?
who knows that those steps are something smaller that can save you more time in the long run.
And that's the thing, is if 12 out of those 13 steps save you time, you're net. If 5 of those out of the 6 save you time, how much time did they save? Because now you're below half of the time, of the tasks that are saving time, but if they save over half the time, you're still in the game. Now maybe those 6 things, or quick math, 7 things that weren't working and saving you time, maybe you can revert those back, and now you actually gain an extra 5 minutes because you went back to the old way on those and are running the new way on the other things. So instead of just gaining 7 minutes here, you gain 7 minutes plus another 3 minutes reverting back to the old way. So you get 10. Whereas they were just looking at 3 or 7. You know what I mean? And it's just that mindset of what can we fucking do? Well, what do I need to start a podcast? Connection to the internet, a way to record a fucking voice, and a way to post it. Some place to post it. Well, YouTube's out there. They'll let you post shit. You have a phone?
Happens to be free.
You have a phone? Great, you can record audio for free.
And video.
Boom. So what do you need? Nothing.
Motivation.
Now, if you really want to get into the weeds of why you don't need to start a podcast or why you can't, yeah, I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to edit video. I don't know how to edit audio. I can't set up a fucking studio. I don't know anything about lighting. Yeah, build your fucking walls.
You got light in your house?
No, there's no way. We're the pioneers, dude. We're the pioneers. Right. Build your fucking walls. Build your cage. That's what everybody's doing. And it's like I was telling you at dinner, it just stresses me out because I've got these people around me that I'm kind of banking on, and nobody wants to fucking do anything. And it's like, I can't network with people that aren't in the network. And all these people want to be in the fucking network. And great, I have a network to bring you in.
People want to reap the rewards without putting in the work.
It's like, dude,
They're sowing no seeds and want the fruit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go over this off the podcast.
Sure.
I've got so many things to vent on about
We'll
people
talk
in the
afterwards and
network.
make some plans on that.
Yeah, but there's people in the network I could roast right now. But it would be too specific to those people, talking.
Yeah,
So,
I feel you for sure.
Yeah. But the thing is, yes, it's
That's
like
why we try to lead from the front. We're setting the example. You set the example for me that you can do what you want to do by just doing it.
But thank you. But that's the dichotomy. Only right now. Right now is the time to lead from the front.
Tomorrow's never promised, like
No.
we were saying earlier.
No, and not just that, but tomorrow I don't know where I'm going to have to lead from, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I at least want to be able to have the basic knowledge of what it's taken to get here, so that if somebody else gets brought in, I can lead them and say, hey, here's what I know, right? Just be open and honest, give me feedback so we can learn together, and then we'll make the best decision possible moving forward.
Right.
That's all I can hope for. Right now, I know what I need to get started with whatever, I can do that, but to bring people into a network, dude, like, for example, if we were going to start networking, right? I'm doing your podcast, you've done my podcast, great, that's networking. Right?
OPP, other people's platforms, so you grow your channel.
Yes, but then here's the other thing. I like to shoot guns. I'm a gun guy. Okay? I want to do gun content along with not just hunting content, but regular life content. Dude, I do crazy shit in my life. People
Right.
are always telling me, what? You did what? Right? That's incredible, right? Why don't I film any of that?
Sometimes what you view as a normal life that's not boring or a life worth living, some people view that as a life they wish they were living.
Dude, the shit that makes me grin.
feel that.
So I'll get this. All right. So before I moved into my grandpa's, my wife and I, and the kids, go to my grandpa's, and that's where my gun safe's at. Get my 22 mag out because there's a woodchuck 100 yards across the road.
They go there like dead eye, like. Beep.
Yeah. So I'm just standing, doing literally what I did as a kid. I'm just standing in the dining room and got 2 big fucking windows, and I'm just looking out and I see a woodchuck, and I'm like, oh shit. So I run downstairs, dude, get the 22 mag, and my grandpa's like, what do you see? I'm like, oh, there's a woodchuck out there. He's like, what? So he gets his binoculars and he's watching out the window. I'm leaning on his grill, like a 128-yard shot.
I wish I didn't live in the city for stuff like that,
dude. 128-yard shot, fucking 4 power, right? I know, 1 mil. Put the mill on his head. Boom, shot breaks. Grandpa, I hear him. Incredible. Right? And that right there, dude, it's like that's a moment that I'm gonna have forever.
Right.
Right? But
that's where you look at your grandpa, you're like, yeah, you like that?
But that's the thing is, I heard him, and that was immediately, I was like, that's honestly why I did. I didn't do that for me, because I already knew I was going to make that shot.
Right,
like,
right.
You know what I mean? It's like...
That's a hell yeah moment.
So I started grinning, and then my wife, you feel good about that? Dude, I cracked that bolt open, shell goes flying, and my grandpa just nodding. I'm like, yeah.
I take a good old whiff of the Florida, the smoke from it.
Oh, dude, it's so good. It's such a great moment. But anyway, so yeah, I go out there and the tail's still up for like a minute because it's just perfect headshot, dude. My grandpa's like, this tail's still up. I'm like, yeah, it's a headshot, Grandpa. He's like, amazing. So anyway, go out there and get it. It was fucking awesome. But it's like those moments I would like to record because it's not, oh, you took a life, right? It's like that's property management, that's animal damage control, and that's efficiency and humaneness at its premium. And I've worked my entire life to be able to do that.
It's not like a snare where it's in there suffering or anything like that. It's not a trap. It's just the groundhog, never seen it coming.
Never saw it coming. Never felt it coming.
No.
And that's the thing is for that moment in my life, I've had hundreds, if not, no, I've definitely had probably tens of thousands of those, honestly. Because, dude, when I think about it, I remember taking shots from the porch, like every year the blackbird migration. Okay, my grandpa and I would just sit on the porch and shoot birds at like 150 yards with the 22. Right, we're doing windage and everything, and you shoot them at 70 to 150, and at like 10 years old, right, I'm making some fucking needle threaders, dude. Right? Well, then one day I made like 3 in a row, and my grandpa was like, "How are you doing that?" And it was, so he had an old Sears 22. One of my biggest regrets also was I sold it to get him a 17 HMR, his dream gun that he just wouldn't pull the fucking trigger on. And he gave me that 22. It was old Sears. Anyway, so
back when Sears was good.
Oh, dude, yeah. So it was made in like the 50s. It was just fucking awesome gun. So anyway, it had like a stepped blade, open sights, and I just moved it up 3 clicks. Click, click, click. And I was just fucking 100 yards, just like dialed, dude. And he's like, I don't, how are you doing that? And I'm like, I just moved the blade up 3 clicks. And he's like,
I learned that from Moses.
He's like, wild. So, and then I'm like, try it.
It's like an AK sight.
Yeah, dude. So he literally, he's like, okay, next bird, dude, 100 yards, pow, smacks it. And then his grin, turn around. He was like maybe 60 at the time. That fucking grin, dude, is always going to stick in my mind. And then this is why I bring this up. 30 seconds later, he's like, I got to try something. So he goes and gets my 22 revolver and comes out. Open sights. It shoots low, as it is. Open sights, 70 yards. First shot. Pow! Fucking blackbird. I'm like, you got him. He's like, no. I'm like, yes. He's like, it's wild. So we walked out there, dude. And when we got out there, dude, his smile, he just, for like 10 minutes, that fucking smile on his face. And it's like, if I would have had a camera on that porch, most people would have been like, okay, that's cool, whatever. Some people would have been like, this is extremely distasteful content. But the people that are my people would have been like, that's fucking amazing. And not just because that was a great shot, but look at his smile. Look at his smile. That's the best shot he's made in 20 years. Look at that fucking smile.
Dude, I had a buddy, you know who he is, Pi. He had this big ass fancy 357, right? And it's like $1,000 gun. Okay. And I had that black powder 44, right? And like he kept trying to shoot this can, he wasn't hitting it and shit. I was like way off in the distance, shit. I know I'm like, ow! One shot got that shit with like old ass black powder 44, dude. And that was the same feel. We were just like,
yeah, yeah, dude. It's just fucking awesome. And another quick moment. This is, I guess I don't know why I'm doing this, but this is kind of the content I want to do. Is I've been playing a game called Pellet Pig since I was a kid. Okay, you get a couple buddies and their pellet guns. They think they're hot shit. You set some cans out, whatever, and you're taking shots at 80 yards with a pellet gun. You set up a fucking like a lid to a pan. You know, set that out in the yard. Fucking, you hear that like a gong, dude, when you hit it. Yeah, and I've actually got some footage I should send you to dub in after this. But anyway, so I played Pellet Pig forever as a kid, and I kind of forgot about it. Well, recently I've gotten back into it, and dude, I've had some of the most fun I've had in the last 20 years, in the last 2 months, just playing Pellet Pig. 20 degrees outside, you're on the porch shooting at fucking hostage targets behind a fucking log.
It's just fun. I used to go to State Lane all the time and like put them on trees and shit.
Yes.
Or like get like a couple 12 packs, put them out there, a couple watermelons, put them on logs and shit, dude. That's the way to do it.
Shooting between crotches of trees.
Yeah,
like, yeah. So it's like those games right there are the funnest. And if I could figure out a way to get 2 scope cams, one on my gun, because you gotta have my scope cam, because I haven't lost a game of Pellet Pig in a long time, dude.
Right.
And I would love to play with you because of that reason. It's like, I mean, every game, dude, I adjust my zero on everything, because it's like, could be 10-mile-an-hour wind today. 3 clicks right, we're good. You know, and then I'm making fucking elevation calls.
Kentucky windage.
Well, no, just the elevation calls. I know my wind calls. I've doped that pellet gun so much that I know my wind calls. It's just the elevation that's like.
See, I'm really good with iron sights. That's my specialty. Because optics are as much as the gun, not gonna lie. For like a good low pulled optic or something.
Nah, you gotta shoot these pellet guns. Dude.
Yeah. We gotta go shooting together for that.
Hey, I can literally have you take the scope off this pellet gun and you'll still shoot a one-hole group.
I believe you for sure. I just like no serves, so like old Mosins or SKSs and shit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Or it's just like the aesthetic of it's just like an all original wood gun, fresh iron sights, dude. Yeah, I can still hit like 100 to 300 yard shots without like.
Dude, and the thing is, the biggest issue that manufacturers make now is they over beef the sights. Dude.
Yeah, dude, less moving parts, less things to go wrong. You know what I mean? Simple, it's gonna work every fucking time.
But even the blades, like, and not to talk shit about M&P, because I would love to have Smith & Wesson as a sponsor one day. But let's just say you get an M&P or a Walther or a SIG. Look at how.
Speak for SIG.
Huh?
I can speak for SIG. SIGs are fucking immaculate.
Oh, I carry one every day. But let's, so you look at that front sight. It's fat as fuck. You don't need that, dude. You do not need that. And the reason I even have that as a pet peeve is because I'm a precision guy, dude. I love shooting one-hole groups. Legitimate one-hole
1911s be like that. It's like, why is it so fucking...
Right, what are we doing?
Right.
I'm literally covering the target.
Yeah.
like I have to shoot two-eyed now because I can't see the fucking target, dude. Yeah. You know, and then there's people like literally they put that little fucking dot right in the middle of their front sight. Uh-oh.
It's all good.
Okay. They put that...
To my sister, I'll call you back later.
They put that little fucking tiny dot right in the middle of their front sight so when they're two-eye and they can it's like, what are you doing? Just get a Dremel and get rid of 90% of that sight, dude. Don't run that little fucking dot in the middle. And it's, you know, I see, like you said, that old Mosin, dude, that front sight is a blade. And when you're taking a shot at 500 yards, you know what you don't want? A fucking pencil sitting on a fucking needle point, dude, because you can't see it. And you're wondering why you're fucking getting overrun. Because you can't stop them at 500 yards and they're throwing artillery in at you.
Or like the Yugo SKSs, they used to come with like some of the tips already painted like glow in the dark white, orange color.
Oh, yeah. On the SKSs, yeah.
Yep.
Actually, why did they quit doing that?
I don't know, probably efficiency, trying to cut corners. But I mean, it ain't nothing.
But they're already Chinese.
Right, it ain't nothing. Well, Yugoslavian ones are a different model with they have the grenade launcher. But it ain't nothing. Take some nail polish or a little bit of paint and dap it on there and clear coat it.
Yeah, true. I guess SKS is kind of deep. You can't just say
it's com block pretty much.
Yeah, you can't just say it's Chinese.
Yeah, because they got Chinese, Russian, Yugoslavian.
The Russian SKSs are sought after too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Anyway, before we get into gun talk on Ladder Up Podcast, so let me ask you a question, Jeff.
Go for it.
I don't want this to be about me. I already cried on here, so I just want to ask you before I hit this bowl. What made you want to start a podcast?
So what made me want to start a podcast?
Like, what was your not seeing me do it? I don't want to hear anything about that.
I'll give you the real reason. I'll give you the reason. Okay. I mean, that was part of the inspiration to it. But
don't want to hear.
But the reason for me starting a podcast, right? So I'm a younger guy, right? I see people that started from the bottom in the middle of nowhere. I'm only 24. I met people that started in the trenches and now they're making fucking millions. So it's like the whole premise of the podcast is like, how did you get from the very bottom of the slums to being a CEO or being a millionaire or being an entrepreneur or being a manager or like running the company or like running the shop floor or getting to the trade you want to go? So Ladder Up Podcast, how do you get to that next level in the ladder? Like what steps did you take to get to where you're at? You know what I mean? Okay. That's the whole idea from a young person's perspective. How do I get in the room with people that are already doing shit and being at the level I want to be at? How do I do that? By getting a podcast. That's the reason to talk. I can ask them questions. They can break down their story. So as an entrepreneur or business owner, you can be like, you can either make it or break it for yourself. You can explain. Now people are gonna I want to use my economic buying power to support your business or your podcast or whatever your platform is that you're trying to promote or talk about on your episode. So then it benefits you. You can share it on your business's page. So then it benefits you because your customer bases can get to know you better and either relate to you more or, like I said, break or make it for you. You know what I mean?
God damn, that's well stated.
Or like imagine being like, imagine being a shop supervisor.
Hold on. Let me revel in that. Imagine being a shop supervisor. Save that.
Save it?
Yeah, save that for a second. Because I just want to boil this down before I lose it. Because I wrote something down. So basically, we can boil it down to you are trying to have conversations with people that, in a way, you idolize. Whether it's something they achieved or a path they're on.
I feel like you can learn something from every single person you meet, whether it be something I don't want to be like or someone I want to be like. So
the Ladder Up Podcast, and you can cut this if you want. That's not what I'm not trying to do.
No cuts, no edits, we're full sending.
I'm not trying to do this, but I'm trying to
do it all.
But I'm saying, in a way, you could say, as a slogan of the podcast, is conversation with industry idols.
Yeah. Okay. But I didn't want to limit myself to a box like that. Like
Right. Just what you were explaining on why you started the podcast. I was just trying to boil it down. The way my ADHD mind works, if I try and remember all of these fucking things, it's like
I know. Sorry, it's really long. It's pretty much just
no. That's what I want. That's what I want because I the more in depth you go, the more information I have, and the more I have to work off.
Explain my intent to the audience. Like I intend to bring my audience value. Like I want you to learn something. I want it to be entertaining, but you still walk away learning something or getting a different perspective. And like even if you're at work, because me and you, we've welded. We know what it's like to sit at work 10, 12 hours a day, fucking sitting there with your headphones in, bored as fuck, doing your job, doing the day-to-day, thing. If you can listen to something that you can escape work for like 2 hours of your day or an hour out of your day, invaluable. And if you can learn something while doing it and getting paid to learn, even more valuable.
Bro, there were days.
So I'm not looking to be the biggest podcast. I'm not looking to blow up. I'm looking to bring people value and have intelligent conversations that are interesting and entertaining.
Right there, dude. Interesting and entertaining. Also educating.
Yes.
Inspiring.
Yes.
Motivating. It would be inspiring.
All of the above.
I just want to say really quick, Ryan, I gotta apologize to Ryan. Because there was a point where my ego, Ryan's my business partner, Ryan Denman, was a big podcast, listened to a couple episodes. I gotta apologize to him formally, personally, but I just kind of had this realization literally just now. And as a friend, this is something you need to do if you really love the people in your life. You gotta have humility, right? Ego's a fucking issue. I literally just had this realization, so let me work this out verbally, but there were days where God, I feel like such a piece of shit saying this, dude. There were days where we had boats at his house to work on for the business, and he got up before work to work on those boats. My perspective, I went to work and then went to his house to work on those boats. And just now did I realize, not only did that motherfucker get up early to work on those boats when we needed to have shit done because they were at his house, But never did he ask me. He always said, hey, dude, I got up a little bit early. I couldn't sleep, whatever his fucking excuse was. He said, hey, I went out there and I looked at this. I measured this. I cut this. I welded this. I did this thing to get us here. So after work, we don't have to fuck with this. So all day while you're here, don't worry about this thing that you might have worried about, because I already fucking did that. And I never gave him the credit for that. As a matter of fact, he's apologized to me because he thought he said some shit that he thought I may have taken as racist. It wasn't at all. It was literally just an expression. But he apologized to me, and I was like, what? I didn't even think that was a thing. But that just shows me where his head was. And he's felt like shit about that ever since. And I've never, until now, I've never had that realization that, and it's not every day by any means, but let's say even if it was 20 days, he got up an hour early. He never said anything to me, asked me about it. He was doing that for the business and never saying, hey, dude, this is what I'm doing, using it against me. Or, so when I had that ego thing, like, hey, dude, not only do I go to work for fucking 10 hours for somebody else, but I then go to work for 8 hours for us.
That's the trap, dude. If you're a good employee, you're gonna give your fucking all and burn yourself out working for someone else, making them millions of dollars or whatever amount that you make your employee. And that's the hardest part, to find the balance to do something like this after a long day of work and have the innovation, energy, and motivation to work for yourself and benefit yourself. That's what most people don't.
Well, like I was saying, I'm doing 8 teams, 16s to 18s. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? Dude, I'm doing 16 to 18, so are you.
You're trying to be social and have a family.
Nah. He's doing 19s, maybe 20s. Because literally, I would leave his house at midnight, and he might be like, I'm going to finish this thing, and then I'm going to go into bed. And then he wouldn't till 1 or 2. And then I'd see him at work, and he'd be like, oh, fuck, I didn't get to bed till 2. Or then I'd see him the next day, and he first thing in the morning, he'd be like, hey, dude, so after you left, I thought about it, I went to bed, I got up a little early, I fucking did this, blah. It's like, god damn, dude, so you're sleeping 4 hours, and this is after I had went to school, and then literally told JC, like, fuck you, dude, I'm not working for you anymore. I actually backed out of school that semester, finished that semester, and then went full-time at Apex. So it's like, doing all that was, to me, that was my ego just being like, look at what I gave up so we could work on this company. And then there he is, not saying anything, like, yeah, dude, but I'm getting up, you know what I mean? So it's like, those people being in your life, and I'm not saying if you would have said something, I would have taken it in a negative way, but those people being in your life, you need to at least be receptive enough and have your ego low enough to be able to see them and see what they're doing, because those people aren't always going to say, hey, dude, just remember.
Or you don't realize it until it's gone.
Right, exactly. And I literally did not have that fucking realization until now. And we quit building boats and rebuilding boats probably fucking 10 years ago. It's 10 fucking years. 10 years. We've, maybe not, 8 years. We've built boats, sold boats, bought an airboat, quit building boats. And I'm just not having that realization. Like, we've talked about it. Have you ever been bow fishing?
I have not been bow fishing, but I would fucking love it.
We're going to have to go this summer.
I've done casting net. I got a fishing spear over there for spear fishing and shit. Because I got tired of fishing, dude.
Bring it!
And you like see a big ass fish, like a foot long or more, just look at your worm and swim away. You're like, bro, what the fuck? That's why I got
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Right, that's what I got in the cast net, dude. That game changer. Game changer.
You get into a cast net and a fucking 3x9 or a 4x16, dude.
Yeah.
You're like, hey.
A bow would be even more efficient than, like, that's what the spear idea was. But a bow, if I could sit on a bridge and be like, big ass carp, thank you.
Bro, listen. I'll get my bows out of storage here in the next, I'll probably get them out in 2 weeks. I got to get them all tuned up and shit, but I was thinking about it because the airboat, whether or not we take it out this summer, I want to take it out a couple times, but not with. So let me vent this really quick. So Ryan and I, we go by the philosophy. So the airboat, first off, is not fucking free to run. It does not run on thank yous. Okay?
Right, very true.
But we do not live 10 minutes away from large water where you can run that airboat. Right. It's a minimum hour and a half drive from where I live to have good water. An hour 15 from where I live to have decent water. Okay.
Where's your favorite spot to take it?
Saginaw Bay.
Saginaw Bay.
Yeah,
Makes
dude.
sense.
Yeah.
It's a cool spot.
Yep. So, yeah, Saginaw Bay is pretty sweet. So anyway, airboats, awesome. God, I love airboats, dude. So anyway, it's not free, and when people start asking, so what's that got in it? It's like, it's a 454, low end. It's a baby motor. Admittedly,
Like a Chevy small block?
no, it's a big block, but it's a 454. It's not bored over or anything.
Fucking throw a Suburban engine on that bitch?
Oh yeah, dude. There's people that put LSs in them, and they're running fucking 24 footers dry, right?
Damn.
Running 8 blades. It's just fucking, yeah. You can do such amazing. We literally have one of the bitchest airboats out there, and it's fucking amazing. Okay, okay. Let me just say that. It's a bitch, but it's awesome. Okay, it runs dry on wet grass, cattails. Fucking, it's, dude. We gotta take you out.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Anyway, so when you're bow fishing, you're out at night, you're on water, and you're with guys that are trying to kill fish, okay? But you need to make sure those guys aren't just trying to kill fish. You need to make sure that you have a mechanic or a guy that's at least willing to fucking do some mechanic shit, you know what I mean? Like, you need a crew of people that if that boat goes down, you get home. Because you don't want to be 4 miles from a fucking boat launch at 3 a.m. with a storm blowing in, thinking, what the fuck am I going to do? Because
seeing thunder and lightning roll over the horizon.
have you ever been on the Saginaw Bay when it turns from fucking glass to Bering Strait?
I have, actually.
Dude, it's...
I was in Sea Cadets and I did like this advanced training with the Coast Guard there. And like we were going over like rough waves and shit, and when they're 65 footers, I like walked through a hatchway right at the wrong time. We went over a wave, smacked the fuck out of my head, dude.
Dude, it's no joke.
Yeah.
It's no joke. And when people... Oh my god. People die almost every year, dude. And I don't know because I haven't been following it in a couple years, but there's usually an airboat that goes down every spring. 2 years ago, there was an airboat that went down. A couple ice fishermen. There was an airboat that went down after ice out. But anyway,
What caused them to go down? Is it like once the fan's not on, do they just sink or what?
so they're kind of like a jet ski, in that if you're not on throttle, you can't turn, right? So you got to think. You got to be pushing air. You're basically just on a sled. So if I slide this to you, it's just going to go in the direction I slide it. But as I'm sliding it, if this motherfucker can all of a sudden throttle itself over here, you know, I can slide it wherever, and that fucker's going to go wherever it wants. With an airboat, you have to be on throttle. I told the story on the podcast. I'll tell it really quick. Ryan fucking wrecked us. Bad. Threw my grandpa across the boat, gave him a bloody nose. My grandpa's nickname's Chuck Norris because he's a badass. And Ryan's girlfriend at the time elbowed him in the face, my grandpa, because it was our first trip with the airboat.
Like accidentally or like on purpose from it?
Accidentally. Because Ryan, with the airboat, I let him drive it first because I love the guy. Okay. Let him hop in the passenger seat. In the driver's seat. I hopped in the passenger seat. I got my daughter between us and my now wife, you know, on the other side, and so we got 4 of us squeezed into a bench seat, and we're going. My grandpa and his wife, now wife, are up front, and there's this fucking giant stump, and I'm like, you gotta turn. And so he rocks the rudders, and the boat just kind of turns, but it's still
Momentum
going toward the
forward,
stump.
yeah.
Right? I'm like, dude, you gotta go. And he's coming toward the stump. I'm like, you gotta hit it. And then as he's starting to hit the throttle, dude, we fucking just smack this fucking stump. And my grandpa goes across the boat into Sarah, who's literally falling backwards like this, right? And he fucking hits his nose, blood everywhere. Right? So I kind of lost my shit for a second. But it's like you have to be on the throttle. So a lot of those people, like the one guy that died.
Because you think about like a car or something, you're like letting off the gas, it's gonna turn a little bit easier.
No. So the one
That's
guy
different.
So first off, the hydrodynamics of a boat, you let off the throttle. After a second or two, you get a surge wave. Okay, hits your transom, right. The ascent comes up, nose goes down. You can never do that in rough seas. You need to fucking know what you're doing. First off, if you're gonna do it, you cannot just lay off the throttle because you will.
So
Right?
you have to slowly power it down.
Oh yeah. Or you got to turn out of it, right? Because you'll get that surge wave that'll spin you around, which is fine.
put me in the very middle of the water away from every stump, and then I'll learn.
Yeah, which is fine, yeah. But and that's not just an airboat, that's any boat. Like, if you're gonna let off throttle, there's a surge wave. So know that first. Well, anyway, so that surge wave kind of, even though he was throttling, it didn't really. So anyway, we hit that fucking stump. Well, those people that went under, what I think happened is they were ice fishing, first off, and they crossed a patch of open ice, or open water, to get back on the ice. And what I think happened is he let off the throttle going across the open water, thinking, I'm going to pop up on the ice. What happened is he dropped the nose, and the nose went under the fucking ice, and his buddy and him both got swept off the bitch.
Damn.
The one guy swam to the hull, the other guy swam for the ice. The guy that swam for the ice did not survive. Rest in peace. The guy that swam for the hull, the airboat was upside down. The guy that swam for the hull survived. Luckily, there was an air pocket that got trapped under the hull, and it kept it up enough for Coast Guard whoever was saved. Scary shit, dude. I don't fuck with the bay when it's icy. I don't trap on the bay.
What a gamble.
I do not fuck with the ice anymore, because I've almost died on the ice. It's not worth it, dude. It's not worth it. $1,000.
I don't know what my decision would be in that situation. I'd probably go for the ice, to be honest. Because you think
Same.
that'd be the safest bet.
Same. And that's what's scary. Is your instincts fuck you. Because you're in a wetsuit, or you're not in a wetsuit, you're in a fucking...
You don't expect to get in the water.
No, right. You're in a suit that's designed for fucking 20 below in the wind on the ice, and then now you're in the water. And that fucker is just an anchor, dude. It sucks up water and you sink. If you're close to the hull, don't swim for the ice. You think the hull's gonna sink. It's a boat. It's gonna sink. Not in this case. So every year people fuck up, whether it's with an airboat or whatever. Snowmobiles, you hear it. Saginaw Bay is no joke. Be cautious. When you're going out there, please. Just for our sake, I don't want to be telling stories about you.
Right, for sure.
But yeah, so the airboat, it's kind of a sketchy thing at first, but what was I even going on?
About how dangerous the water can be on the airboat.
Oh yeah, you asked me about Saginaw Bay, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it was? Well, Saginaw Bay is fucking sketchy. You do not want to be on the bay when a storm's blowing in. Wind, when you're trying to push wind in an airboat against the wind, it doesn't work, right? You're trying to use a boat that uses wind for propulsion. It's like trying to use a jet boat going downstream at the same pace as the stream. It does not fucking work. You're just part of the stream, So it's sketchy, but it's one of the fucking funnest things. I don't remember where I was going with that, but anyway.
It's just a little sidebar on the airboat.
The building a boat thing.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, so we did that, and then, I just kind of didn't realize until then that I was kind of overlooking the ego thing. But that's the thing, is you need to be able to, like, I'm going to have to call Ryan and be like, hey, dude, so I just had this fucking thought.
Shit, we can send him the podcast.
Right, and I didn't realize it. Oh, that's probably how we'll do it. I'll be like, hey, so I had this thought, I'll let you watch it in the podcast. But I didn't have that till now, and it's just kind of one of those things that if you don't address that going forward in your life, you're gonna have that in 5 years and wish that, and if Ryan's not in my life, I'm gonna wish that, oh fuck, I wish I had at least addressed it, because maybe that's the reason. Maybe he thinks, what a fucking ungrateful piece of shit, because his ego didn't allow him to see that, you know what I mean? So.
And that's like some of the value in long form conversation is like you can break stuff down where like, say for instance, when we were work buddies, we only talked for like 10 minutes on break or like half hour on lunch.
That's all we needed.
That's it.
That's all we needed.
For sure.
Like, dude, I remember you asking me, hey, you mind if I sit with you on break? Because I had branched away from everybody on break. Not because I didn't like everybody. The conversation people had on break was just, it didn't...
Garbage, not gonna lie. Some of it was garbage.
It wasn't, there was no sustenance to it.
Yeah.
And to be honest, dude, I've kind of grown up alone in the woods, and that's where I operate best. And it's like that 10 minutes away from all the fucking noise of hammers and people telling me they need this and want that, and who the fuck does this person think they are, and bitching about this, right? Give me 10 minutes.
How fucking dare they?
Right. But so when you were like, yeah, you mind if I, it's like, yes, because yes. 90% of these other motherfuckers, I guess if you want to come out, but I'm not going to fucking talk to you. Like, that's the difference. Come out. That's fine. It's quiet over there. But I'm not going to be like, yeah, come out and talk. And literally, dude, every day you came out with a notebook, you did not annoy me. Like, you were the most entertaining. Like, and then, well, Zach and Drew, too, but it's like, you guys coming out, it's like, fuck. Like, that's, that's what I need just to get through my day at work. And if
I miss it, for sure.
If you have an ego that gets in the way of that says, no, I need my alone time. Fuck you, dude. You take your alone time, I'll take my alone time. It's like, how are you ever gonna... I don't know, dude. People just forget that we need each other. We're a community animal, and it's frustrating.
And I feel like phones and stuff, like, you get away from that, almost. Because you're not having long-form conversations. No one wants to talk on the phone anymore. No one wants you to sit down and have a conversation. It's always, you say you hang out with someone, they're just fucking on their phone the whole fucking time. Or like playing video game or whatever, and they're not actually engaging in conversation and debating ideas or going back and forth. Like, for instance,
it's annoying.
If we didn't have a long-form conversation, you wouldn't come to that realization by your friend there, Ryan. So that.
Well, and that's the thing. That you know what? Subscribe. Hit subscribe.
Ladder Up Podcast.
This motherfucker.
What's a big podcast?
This motherfucker. Fuck me, dude. Don't worry about this. Do not waste your time. You're here for Ladder Up. If you get bored,
it's a network.
No. Listen, you already have weeks worth of podcasts you're behind on. Okay. If it's financial shit, if it's shit that's gonna push you forward, please do not listen to my podcast. It's not gonna push you forward. Okay. It may give you some insight to life of like some extremes of tribalism or whatever. It's not going to push you forward. What's going to push you forward is setting goals, finding ways to educate yourself during the day while you're doing other things, multitask.
Getting paid to learn.
Build a plan and achieve those fucking goals by building a plan, budgeting, strategizing, okay? Listening to the Whistle Pig podcast is not going to get you there. I don't do that, but I bitch a lot. And I have these conversations where maybe people come to realization. So if you want entertainment, come to Whistle Pig. But do not come to my podcast for education, please. Let me throw that disclaimer out there. But let me follow that up with, if you want entertainment, I go off on riffs and I lose myself and I will piss people off and then apologize 3 podcasts later because I argue with myself constantly. I'll make a point and then I'll be like, well, that was fucking stupid. You just got to give me time to fucking, right? A lot of my stuff is self-analyzing. And that's... that I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to get at is like when I talk to people, I want to see what you're achieving 100%, because the more that you can feed me, the more I can use to right in my life. But I feel bad if I'm just taking things, right? I need to be able to give back. I mean, I feel like that's kind of why we haven't been touching base, is because I haven't been achieving anything. And you've been making strides, and it's like, I'm not going to anchor that guy.
Well, I went for a long time and just not doing shit. Eventually I got to sit in there,
Dude, you're 24.
I'm not doing nothing.
You didn't go for a long time without doing shit. Dude, you're 24.
If you sit at home every single weekend for a year or two, or like go out and party every single weekend for a year or two, and then you wake up one morning, you're like, fuck, I haven't done shit, anything of value in the last like 6 months or however long.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you're like, you got these dreams and goals, and they're not getting any fucking closer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're looking at people that are your age that have done something little every day since high school, and right. Yes, I get it. But let me hijack this again for a second. When you started this podcast and you had your aspirations of, talking to industry leaders and trying to further yourself, how did your goals change from before you started the podcast to after you started the podcast? And I guess for more specifics, like, I know you had a strategy before, or not even a strategy, an idea of, okay, maybe I need to do this. How did that change from before to after, when you actually started and realized what you do need? Like, did it shrink, or did you realize you needed more than you thought?
When I started, I thought I needed 1,000,001 things, right? I'm like, oh, I need this editing software, I need this video editing software, I need to get this clip software so I can take the clips, I can edit them out, I can add the audio to here and put it in here. I need an intro, a little fancy guitar riff sound, I need a fucking fancy label.
Yeah,
I need to do like a whole little snippet art for the YouTube art part of it. And then like versus now I'm like, yeah, this stuff's important, but what's the point if I'm not to the point yet? I gotta put stuff out there to grow first. So in order to get stuff out there, I have to start where I'm gonna learn it. I still have the same idea of where I want to go with it and what I want to do with it, But if I just start it, eventually it'll transform into what I want. Because I'll mold it into that. If it's my creation and I start.
So did you have that mindset before you started?
No,
or was that kind of after you started, you're like, well, shit, I can make this whatever?
I sat on the idea for a year. I did a couple recordings, sat on those recordings for 6 months to a year. And then eventually I got tired of always having the idea of starting. Oh, shit, you're good.
It's a Jocko. Sorry, Jocko.
You're good.
Sorry, Jocko. My bad, dude. I'm not rolling with you either. So you know.
Jocko, just go.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, hopefully that made up for it, Jocko. My bad. Don't want none.
You got an ashtray really quick out of the
You're good. Yeah, I do.
Sorry, bro.
You're good.
Hey, how much longer you want to go? I'm good. I don't want to take.
I figured like 10, 15 more minutes.
Okay, well, I'll let you take.
We're at an hour 35 right now.
Okay. However and whenever, I did have another question for you.
No, I'm good with it, dude.
Okay.
Forgot what I was saying.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. That was my bad. So we were just talking about like your goals before and after. Like, did you realize you needed more or less?
I think to sum it up, I needed less than I thought I would need to start. The main thing was starting. The easiest thing I did was just buy a good phone with a good camera quality and good audio quality, and a tripod stand. I had a little Bluetooth clicker, so I can hit pause and play from over here. It's a tripod.
Plug it.
$20.
Plug it. What is it?
I don't know. eBay. Something I got.
There it is. eBay.
Right. eBay's where I get all the shit.
Pay them. Or, I'm sorry.
The
pay
phone
Jeff.
I got
Pay
was
Jeff.
a Google Pixel 8. Has a good enough camera, good enough audio quality to do it where I can just put it out there. Eventually, I get to the point where I'll network more and meet people that do editing or learn how to do the editing
Yes.
and stuff.
Yes.
I'm not to the point yet.
And that's what I was saying, dude. You don't want to be the one man.
I expected to start
You don't
like
wanna
or
be the
have
one
it all
man.
put together like anything. You want to be well, put together before you start it. But eventually, I'm just like, I'm never gonna fucking start if I just think I need it all perfect before. Nothing's gonna be perfect to start. I thought I was looking for the perfect thing to have be the perfect. I'm not gonna start and have a Joe Rogan podcast. You know what I mean?
Well, no,
Like,
that's not true.
yeah.
That's not true. But the odds are so small. The
Right.
odds are so small. But the thing is, and this is what I've come to learn, dude. The thing is, as a podcaster, I've got to be okay with other podcasters achieving success, right? Because that's what I want for everybody in the podcast realm, for the most part. There's some people that I feel maybe are podcasting for the wrong reason or whatever. I'm not going to name
But I've
anybody.
seen podcasts that are worse than mine, and that have like no substance to it. I've seen podcasts that are better than mine, and everything in between. It's like I feel like I have intelligent conversations with people that are interesting, thought-provoking, and stimulating, and entertaining. So why not take those same conversations, have them, and record them and share them with the world? If other people can benefit from it, brightens one person's day, goal achieved.
Oh,
You know?
yeah. Well, and that's the thing, dude. Like, and again, I don't want to get off about how proud I am of you, but the fact that you're doing it is like, everybody that listens is a door that's open. Everybody has an opportunity to email you and tell you their story about how you helped, or give you an opportunity to where you can help them and yourself. That's a door. No matter what year you get into, it's a door.
There's so many good stories out there, just no one has a platform to tell it.
Yes.
So if I can be that platform for someone to get their story out,
And you both grow, dude.
Right.
And what's better than maybe helping somebody achieve something, even if it doesn't help you, right? Even if I say, you know what, I'm not gonna lose anything. I'm just
Right.
gonna stay where I'm at. But
that's
I
literally
can.
my mindset. If I come into it expecting nothing out of it, I have nothing to lose.
So what am I doing? Not doing anything. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand. I don't understand. But so then,
Well, maybe this will give you the motivation or spark again to get that going. I'd be happy to go on and do another episode with you and stuff. And we can go from there.
my podcast, my podcast.
We said, what am I doing? So I thought you meant like with your podcast there.
No, I can address that really quick. I know you want to wrap it up, but
I'm in no hurry. We're good.
My-
Pretty chill.
my podcast, like I said, I needed to step away. And it's not that I'm not going to post the episodes I have recorded. It's just not the time, because I want to record a preamble, kind of give a prequel and be like, hey, just so you know, like, you haven't heard from me in 6 months because I did a analysis, and the analysis I have is I needed to step away, right? And I think we all need that. that's the other thing I want. And the reason I brought that up actually is I don't want people to be scared to fail or scared to stop. Right? Don't be afraid to take a break. Like I didn't quit podcasting. If I would have quit podcasting, I would have quit paying for my fucking all my shit. I still pay for everything. Just because I haven't posted doesn't mean, oh, you're wasting money. Fuck you, dude. No, I'm not. Right? I'm doing what I'm doing because I know what I need to do in order for me to do what I need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's your vision.
Right. It's my fucking vision. It's my fucking life. You think I'm wasting money? Great. In your life, I'm wasting money. You don't waste that money in your life. And then you're never going to achieve what I'm achieving, right? My shit's still open. Everybody can still go through Podbean and all my fucking distributors. I still have YouTube. It's all there. Yes, I can pay for that at a discounted rate, but what if I want to upload a podcast tomorrow? Now I have to get with them and change my... No, dude. No. That's not why I'm doing this, right? So, at the end of the day, man, don't be afraid to say, I need a break. I'm overwhelmed. But also don't be afraid to say, hey, Jeff, I need help. Like, do you mind listening to me vent? Yeah, fuck it. Dude, turn the camera on. Let's vent for 3 hours. Do you mind? And then I'll post it on my podcast if you don't like what you said, or because I'm just gonna vent, and then I'm just gonna let you fucking reciprocate or tell me where I'm wrong or argue points because I need direction. That's what venting is. Somebody's saying, "Oh, this is problem that I have. Oh my God, this is another problem," and they're looking for direction.
Right, now if you can lead someone to be like, well, that problem there, that could be an opportunity if you look at it like this.
And it's just a reminder, dude, because again, when you listen to yourself when you're upset or happy or, whatever, and then you listen back baseline, you're like, what a whiny cunt. What a stupid bitch. Did I really say that? Hold on. I said that. Wow. Wow. Oh. Okay.
Well,
and that's literally the moments I've been having is like...
I mean, there's value in that too, though, because most people just talk and don't ever listen to themselves talk. So if you listen to your podcast, and that's who you are normally, you'll be like, wow, I might want to change that.
Yes, and that's the issue is, like, I don't want to be talking at people and venting. Like, I would rather call you and be like, let's vent, dude. I need to talk about some shit. I know you probably do. I feel like that's probably what this turned into a little bit, but it's like, that's why I haven't yet. And it's not because I don't have people to talk to. I have people that want to come on and have asked me to come on.
But no guy wants to be like, hey, come over and fucking talk, like...
Right, and it's not...
It has to happen organically and naturally, almost.
Well, it's not just any guy, right? Like, I have people like you in my life that I know I can call and say, hey, dude, if you got maybe an hour, like, just tell me when you need to stop. I can call Ryan, be like, hey, just tell me when you need to hang up. And he does. He'll be like, hey, dude, I gotta let you go. I'll call you right back when I get a minute. That's all I need, dude. And then in that 10 minutes of silence or an hour, I think about, and then when he calls back, I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I know that was fucking rough, but thank you for letting me vent. And then he'll be like, no, I thought about what you said, and here's what and it's like, thank you. Like, I was coming at you with an apology because I felt like shit about putting my emotions and feelings and fears on you, and then here you are over there like, yeah, I need a problem to solve today. Thank you. So let me just fucking...
On the note of business, that's all business is.
That's all
solving
it is.
problems.
That's all it is. And
if you can solve a rich person's problem, they will pay you money. That's all it is.
And if you don't have that person to network with and be like, hey, I need this problem solved, if you don't help me solve that problem, I can't ladder up.
Like, people don't realize buying houses is problem solving. You need a house. That's the problem.
Yes.
A real estate agent will help you solve that problem. A car salesman,
the issue isn't you need a house. The issue is you need a home.
Right. Well said.
You want to raise a kid.
Right.
If I have a house, I can rent that bitch out.
Right.
No. Not when my kids are living in that motherfucker. I need a home.
Or I don't have kids yet, so I'm thinking.
I can have 15 houses, but I need a home.
Turn that trap house to a trap home.
You know what I mean?
It's lit.
Word.
But yeah,
Gang shit.
thank you guys for listening. I hope we brought some value to you. You kind of get more insight of what my premise and idea of the Ladder Up podcast is and what direction I want to go.
And I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. Thank you for coming on to the show and being here and having your time. I value it a lot. Appreciate it for sure.
Likewise. And I'm going to let you continue on, but I'm going to hijack this for another second. Thank you for being patient because you asked me probably, what was it, maybe a month ago to come on. And I was at my grandpa's fucking shit service, dude. I don't have service out there for shit. So like trying to get at you was a stressful couple days because all of a sudden I had like 9 messages pop up at once, and I'm like, oh shit, and I go on my messenger and there's you buried in there with a bunch of fucking memes and shit.
Yeah.
But if I would have had service, it would have been manageable because it'd been like one message.
Life happens. That's why I kind of hit you up today, rambling like, I'm good energy today. I'm feeling good. I'm not tired. I'm like, pot today.
And that's exactly what I was trying to get at is not giving up a month ago, being like, well, this is just another motherfucker. Because we were talking about it at dinner. You schedule 3 guys, 4 of them quit.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, what? You know what I mean? It's like, I can't do it this week. It's like, I didn't know you were scheduled.
Right. And that's why I wanted to make mine an easy, convenient thing to set up, where it's not a big hassle. It's not nothing too extra. I can just pull up, set the tripod up, and go. Because it's harder to say no if it's like, I have everything I need right here. I'm good to go.
Or, hey, dude, I can't leave the house today. Perfect. Have you got 2 hours where we could record for a half hour each hour?
Right.
Because I'll hang out for an hour and help you with the kids. If we can just get a half hour here and then a half hour there, I'll piece it together. That's what I can do in editing. Right. With my bare minimum knowledge. You know? Like, but anyway, so I just wanted to say, like, thank you for having me and being patient because, I mean, one, I needed it just because I've owed you for a while just to come on here and fucking give you content, even though it's all over the fucking place right now. Give me another month, get my mind kind of organized a little better. I've got goals. It's just getting the individual stepping stones.
This is just the start. We'll have content for you guys about maybe shooting guns or maybe hunting or maybe wood stuff. Like I go to a lot of national parks and you probably enjoy that shit too, dude. We could do some content from national parks.
Photography, I don't see why, and we'll talk about this after, but I don't see why we couldn't collab on a Facebook page and just do a photography channel.
It'd be super cool.
Is that the way?
Yep. So on that note, we're gonna end it out. Thank you guys for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe. Shout out. Yeah, and if you do need entertainment, look up the Whistlepig Podcast everywhere. Facebook, YouTube. Not on Rumble yet. I will get to Rumble here shortly when I start posting again. But Podbean, Spotify, wherever the fuck you get a podcast, you can get me. So, if you need entertainment. If not, please, educate yourself with finances and all the other shit first. But if you get bored, let me help. You know what to do. Thank you guys.
Thank you.